What's up, YouTube? This is Next Era Gaming, and I'm Xander, and today we have a Marincess deck profile for the new format 2020. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it with the main deck. We are going to be playing 3 copies of Marincess Blue Tang. Probably the best card in the main deck as far as I'm concerned. It's basically a starter or an extender depending on how you use it. What she does when she's summoned is she can send a Marincess card from deck to grave. And whenever she's used for a Marincess link summon, she is part of duality. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add a Marincess card, shuffle the rest back in. Really good card. She goes really nicely in pair with the new card that just came out of Ignition Assault, Marincess Pascalis. And what she does is when she's normal summon, you get to special summon a Marincess from your hand in defense position. That's when she's normal or special summon, my bad. As well as when she's in your graveyard, except the turn she sent there, you can banish her, and she recycles a spell or trap card that's a Marincess back to your hand. So really nice card. Right now we're playing 3 of her. I'm still testing her out, so this may not be the exact numbers that you want to play, but this is how I am choosing to play it for right now. Moving on to the next card, though, we are playing 3 copies of Marincess Seahorse. What Marincess Seahorse does is if she's in your hand while you have a Marincess Link monster on the field, she can special summon herself to a zone that Marincess Link monster points to, as well as if she's in the grave, except the turn she sent there, banish her. She can special summon a water from your hand to a monster, or a monster zone that a Link monster points to. So she's pretty nice as well. We try to play as many of all the Marincess monsters as possible because we don't have that many to play with right now. But this one right here, we are only playing 2 copies of. Because, and this is a Mandarin. The reason why we only play 2 copies of her is because her effect isn't as versatile, I feel, as the other ones are. Her effect is if she's in the grave or in the hand, you can special summon her as long as you control two Marincess monsters to a zone that one of them point to that's a Link monster. But when she leaves the field, she's banished. So, like I said, she's kind of like a spinny, and maybe you could play 3 of her. I choose to play 2 of her, but that's just me. Moving on to the spells or traps for the Marincess cards. These are all the Marincess monsters. We play 2 Marincess Battle Oceans. This is probably the most important card in the deck. It basically is what allows you to make your cards unaffected by other card effects, and it boosts them up to 2,000 attack. Really good, solid card. We play 2 of it. A lot of people say to play 1 of. We play 2 of it because I do play Pot of Desires, as well as if this card gets banished, it really hurts if you don't have another one to go into. So, and Cosmic Cyclones running around everywhere right now. So I think 2 is a solid number for that. And then we play 3 Marincess Waves. This card is absolutely insane. It's an infinite impermanence, as well as it makes every monster you control, not just Marincesses, every monster you control unaffected by card effects. And you can activate it from your hand as long as you have a Link 3 or higher Marincess monster. If you get this deck to go off, this card is the absolute nuts. And it is just really, really, really good. And that's all the Marincess spell or trap cards we are playing right now. I hope to get more Marincess spells later on. Or maybe we have a few other traps. But that's all I play at the moment. Moving on to another package we play. We play the Frog Engine, which is 3 Swap Frogs and 1 Ronin Totem. For those who don't know what they do, basically when Swap Frog says, discard a water, special summon him, and then send a frog from deck to grave. So, and then you can return him to hand, and then you get an additional normal summon for frogs. And it's not, neither one of those are once per turn, I believe. Maybe the returning to hand is once per turn, but the effect that matters, the special summon effect, is not once per turn. So you can just do it over and over again, and it gets you to totally awesome really fast. A lot of people choose to play dupe frogs. I have nothing wrong with Dupe Frog. I think it's a good card. If I was playing Frog Paleo, then I would be playing Dupe Frog. But in this build, I personally think that this is the right package for it. Like I said, if you disagree, that's perfectly fine. There's different builds for this. I don't play the Paleo cards either, and a lot of people like the Paleo cards. So if you're doing that, then I definitely see why you would play the Dupe Frogs. But anyways, moving on to the next bit, we play... These are the extenders. We play 2 of the Water Crusadia. For those who don't know, all the Crusadias are pretty much the same. They all have a different attribute, and they're all tuners, I believe, too, if I remember correctly. This one's a level 3 tuner. Basically, if you control a Link monster, you can special summon it to a arrow that monster points to. And this is great because we get locked into water monsters with the extra deck a lot. And so with her being a water type, she's just a really good extender to help get us to places we need to go, as well as Sea Archiver. Sea Archiver also works that way. You can, discard him for the effect of Swamp Frog. And now whenever you have a link monster, you can just special summon him. So really good extenders. Definitely like playing them. Some more extenders you could play that I've heard other people mention. Tin Goldfish is a good card. I personally don't like it because it requires you to have level 4s in your hand, but that's fine. As well as, I believe it's called White Stingray was one that one of my friends was playing. But anyways, moving on. We do play 3 of the second best hand trap in the game. Of course, the first best hand trap, in my opinion, is Infinite Impermanence. But we already have a main deck Infinite Impermanence, so there's no point in playing it, in my opinion. A lot of people disagree with that. That's fine. If you guys want to play Infinite Impermanence, definitely take these out, put those in there, as well as Phantasme. These are just the hand traps I choose to go for. Another hand trap you could definitely play, and I usually have these in my side deck, is the Spooky Dogwood. We're not playing those in the build, but I wanted to show them off because they are water, so they do work with the deck, as well as you gain life points, and you're making ulti Falcons that can negate attacks. So it's really nice, but once again, I'm choosing to play Ash in the main, and the Dogwood in the side. Moving on to the rest of the spells, we do play 3 Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is almost a necessity, I feel like, because you need your cards to be able to go off. You need to be able to send from deck to grave. You don't want to get Ashed. You don't want to get, Ghost Ogre. You don't want to get any of that. We play 3 Cyanide Minings. This is a Cyber deck. You need to search your stuff, and, putting your water monsters in the graveyard is really good. So that's pretty good. We do play 2 Cosmic Cyclones because this is going to be a back row heavy format, and that banishes. It does cost a little bit of life points, so it does kind of suck if you go into time. But I personally think that banishing is better than just sending them to the grave, because there's a lot of decks that let you recur from the grave. So 2 of those. We do play 2 Pot of Desires. You want to see your cards. You don't really neg from banishing your cards too much. So this card, a lot of people see it as either a neg 9 or a +1. The way I look at it is it just depends on how you play. If you know when to play this card, it's going to benefit you more than in somebody who just... I've seen people draw it and play it as their first card, and I'm like, why would you do that? So once again, I feel like Pot of Desires is a card you just have to know how to play. But moving on to the 1-ofs, we do play 1 1-for-1. This card could be a really good starter to get out the Mandarin. A good extender, just depends on how you're trying to use it. When we play the Foolish Burial, once again, used to be an extender. If you don't have a way to get, like if your blue tank gets negated, now you got the Foolish Burial to put the Seahorse in the grave, which is really important with the extra deck. And then 1 Monster Reborn to use as extenders to get to your water plays, your link plays. So that's all for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. We play 2 Marincess Blue Slug. What she does is when she's link summoned, she's a link 1. You get to target a Marincess monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So usually the play is you summon Blue Tang, send Seahorse, use Blue Tang to go into her, Chainlink 1 Blue Tang to reveal the top 3 cards, Chainlink 2 her targeting Seahorse so Seahorse can special to that arrow. So it's a pretty good starting link monster. She goes hand in hand with Sea Angel. Sea Angel lets you just add a Marincess spell from deck to hand. So she basically searches the field spell. As far as I know, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I've looked into this and I haven't seen it, we only have 1 Marincess spell in the game right now. So it literally only searches the field spell. But it's pretty nice, The field spells are really a necessity. We play 2 Coral Anemone. I know a lot of people say to play 3 of this. I personally think it's a 2 of because of how much recursion is in the deck. But I can definitely see why you play 3 of it. This one's probably my favorite extra deck monster for Marincess. What she does is when she's summoned, you can target a water monster with 1500 or less attack and then special summon it to a zone she points to. And then when she leaves the field, add any Marincess card that's in your graveyard back to your hand. So that's another thing too. It recycles your trap card. So you can summon Blue Tang if you already have your extenders in your hand. Go into the, when you summon Blue Tang, send the trap card to the grave, And when you go into her, just add the trap card back. And she's a link too, so that's really great. So moving on to this card right here. This is Marincess Crystal Heart. This card is probably the most important extra deck card because it goes hand in hand with the field spell. This is what makes your stuff unaffected by card effects. So it's kind of important. Pretty much that's the only thing that's really worth noting on this. I mean, it does have an effect when it's in the extra deck monster or the EMZ. It's unaffected by card effects itself, but usually you just use this to go into whatever play you're going into. So that's Crystal Heart, and then we play 2 Marbled Rock. Marbled Rock is also really, really good. The first effect is once per turn, target a Marincess card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Once again, Marincess card, so you can do the field spell, the trap card, whatever you want to do. Any of the link monsters, any of that, just return it back. Good recycling. And then the second effect is if your opponent declares an attack, discard a Marincess monster. You take no battle damage from that attack, and your monster is not destroyed. So the battle still happens, but you take no damage, and your guy can't be destroyed. So it's really nice. Good way to get over certain things. And once again, you know, it has 2,500 attack. So if you put out the field spell and then make this, now it has 4,500 attack. And it's unaffected by card effects if you use Crystal Heart. And then we play Wonder Heart. Wonder Heart's very similar to Marbled Rock. It has an effect to where if it gets attacked or if it battles during damage calculation, if you have an equipped card to it, you can special summon the equipped card, and then you take no battle damage, as well as your monster can't be destroyed. So that's really nice. Then if you do special summon the monster, it does go back at the end of the turn. But it's really nice because you can attack, and then, like I said, you take no battle damage, and your monster's not destroyed, but your opponent's can be. So you can go in for the attack, and then special out this guy if she's equipped. They're still going to get the battle damage and still whatever, you know. And then now this guy can attack. Main phase 2, activate effect to recur. And then at the end phase, return back to equipped, making this have 4,400. So once again, really good card. I only play 1 of it currently. You could argue that you need 2 of it, and that's fine. I've only had a few situations where I wish I had a second one, but not many. There's another Link 4 coming out in a few sets. That'll probably take the second spot for it whenever that happens. I may move this up to 2 at some point, but. And then for the Toad package, we do play 1 Totally Awesome. Totally Awesome negates anything and sets it, and it recurs to water, and it's just really great. Main play is for Nibiru. I do apologize for my dog barking in the background, but yeah, main play is for Nibiru. So yeah, we're almost done. We're going to wrap this up really quick. As for the non-Marincess monsters, we do play 1 Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. You do get locked into water if you start using the effects of the extra deck monsters. So you want to use this probably when you're going in for like an OTK type thing. And then we do play Borload. Borload's to get over things that you can't get over. And lastly, we do play Abyss Dweller. This very rarely comes up, but when it does, it comes in clutch. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys like this deck profile. I hope you guys will give me some more suggestions. I will do an update in the near future. I really do enjoy this deck. I really enjoy the way that it plays and the monsters that it does make. So I hope you guys enjoy it too. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, because more Next Era Gaming is what we are going to be bringing to you. Have a good one.